In this video, I'm going to show you how I take this small corner behind me in this room in my house and turn it into this awesome multi-purpose workspace and unique backdrop for filming YouTube videos. So this is what the room looks like currently, and I actually decided to film this video after these two sides behind me had already been installed. But originally this room was really more of a blank canvas, where the wall directly behind me did stick out quite a bit because it's actually a chimney that comes up from the living room. So I decided to use these two blank spaces on either side, where on this side I installed a custom gear cabinet to hold all of my photography and filmmaking gear, and on this side I installed a floating desk. I already knew that I wanted to use this corner of the room as both a desk and also a makeup station because I do a lot of beauty photography, and I knew I needed a spot where hair and makeup stylists could get models ready for shoots. But I also thought that this area over here would make a great spot to set up a backdrop for all of my YouTube filming. So the first thing I did here was actually to have this desk installed and built into the wall like a floating desk. At first I had the MDF painted white, but it was a bit too plain looking. I also needed it to be a lot more like an actual worktop so that if there were any makeup spills or dust, it could easily be wiped down. I ended up using this roll of adhesive wallpaper in a marble looking texture, and it ended up looking a lot more interesting. They're a plastic-like material which can easily be wiped down like a real worktop surface. I've used these adhesives before and they're really great and super cheap, coming in at around $2 to $3 per roll. You can cut them to just about any size and they stick really well to most surfaces. The real winner about these adhesive rolls is that you can take them off later if you decide you hate it or you want to change it up without causing much damage at all. I got mine at the DIY store here called B&Q, but you can pick up these adhesive rolls at just about any craft store or DIY construction store. I just laid it over the desk and cut it with an X-Acto knife so that it fit perfectly over the top and also around the corners of the desk. Unfortunately, I had the idea to film this video after I had already covered the desk, so I couldn't show you guys the exact process of how to do it, but it is going to vary with what you're covering because you're going to need to cut this stuff to the exact shape of the object in which you are covering. But I can show you a picture of the before of just the MDF desk and also a picture of what it looks like now with a lick of paint and the adhesive wallpaper covering. I think that it really makes all of the difference and takes this desk to a whole new level. I also needed a makeup mirror with lights because, like I said before, this is not just a filming space, but it's also an area for models to get ready before shoots. I looked a lot online for light up mirror options, but they were all hardwire options or either really expensive. So I bought these lights on Amazon and the blank mirror on Amazon, and I just spaced the lights out evenly around the mirror, and they came with little sticky backs, so I was able to just stick them on close to the edges, and I taped the cords tightly behind. I think it looks really nice and expensive looking. It was a super cheap DIY method compared to those Hollywood mirrors, which you can buy for like $300. These lights are color temperature controlled and also dimmable through the little push button switch, which is powered by just a USB plug-in. So once I had all that put together, I just hung the mirror above the desk area and left the little light control button switch underneath, which I stuck to the wall with double-sided sticker. I also hung this painting above because it was looking a little bit odd to me having so much space in between the top of the mirror and the ceiling. I use studio lighting to light up my scene so that I'm not at all dependent on natural light coming in through the windows. To do this, I use blackout curtains to control the spill of light and block out any light coming through the windows. This gives me a very consistent video because you can always control the power of your lights in your studio, but you can't always control the sunlight. So if the light changes during the making of your video may end up looking a bit lighter halfway through or a bit darker halfway through. Once I had this corner setup done, I did end up filming quite a few videos in this setting, just like this. I currently have a 3-point light setup going on, so I have my key light, a fill light, and then also a background light. But the problem with this setup is that it's really harsh lighting. Both my key light and my fill light are spilling into my face, making it really hard on my eyes. So when I spend hours in this setup here, it tends to give me a headache, and I'm not like really in a cozy spot. Like, it's all white and boring, and I ended up watching a lot of the videos that I made during this time, and I was like, geez, that is boring to watch. There's nothing interesting going on except for me talking to the camera. I needed to change up my lighting to something a lot less harsh and also something I liked being surrounded by, because when you spend hours making videos every day, you want to like the environment that you're sitting in. You want it to make you feel happy, cozy, any kind of vibe that you want, but you want to like that environment and you want to be happy doing what you're doing. I tried to think of different types of lighting that I liked, and the thing that always came to mind was going out to restaurants and bars where they have those dimmable multicolored lights and neon lights. I feel like they make the space really moody and give off a nice vibe without being super bright and overwhelming. I wanted my YouTube corner backdrop to be much more of a relaxing atmosphere and lighting scheme so that it was nicer for me to be in all the time and also more interesting for you guys to watch. I ordered a couple of these neon lights on Amazon, which I think are super cool, and they're gonna give it more of a sort of desert jungle vibe. I think I'm gonna hang them sort of to the left of where I sit because I don't want them sort of sticking out from behind me. I more just want them to help sort of frame the shot up. These do come with holes in the backs where you can hang them with nails, but I actually just stuck them to the wall just about like everything else with a double-sided sticky sticker. So I hung my neon lights up here, and I do really like how those are looking in the camera, but my background light is just seeming to be a little bit too bright. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop on this purple color gel paper and see how that looks. These color temperature gel packs are so nice because you get all sorts of different colors you can put over lights and totally change up the color of the light. You do have to be careful using them though, because if your lights are hot, it will melt the plastic gel paper, but usually the LED lights are totally fine because they don't get hot. I also turn on the makeup mirror light to even out the lighting in the background on both sides. This looks okay nice, but I wanted a bit more of a desert jungle vibe, so I brought in some plants. I wanted the ivy to hang down the back right corner, so I enlisted a little bit of help and hung a shelf above the art, which I had already hung, and put the ivy up there so that it could hang down. On the floor, I put a parlor palm on the side with the neon lights to even things out and also to try to cover up some of the cords which hang down from the neons. I also had this heart light, and I felt like the neon on only one side needed some evening out, so I laid that down in the corner and popped another plant into the middle of it. Finally, I brought in my key light and my chair so I could see how things were looking. Now, instead of 3 really bright harsh lights, I only use one really soft main key light, which has been diffused to illuminate my face. I still use the light in the background, but it's also diffused, dimmed, and gelled to give us this purple color. There's also a little bit more illumination and gel from the colorful practical lights behind me. It's insane what a few small DIY changes in lighting and staging can do. Now I absolutely love my YouTube backdrop for filming my videos. It looks so much more professional and interesting than it did before, and even a lot better than it did halfway through when we only had this side done. I've also noticed that people tend to stay on these videos a lot longer now that the background has changed. Will I change it up again in the future? Maybe, probably. I don't know yet. But I'm super happy with the way it looks now, and I do know that if I do want to change it in the future, it's very easy to do. A unique filming backdrop can really set your channel apart on YouTube and grow your engagement big time. Let me know what you guys think of this transformation and if you're planning to redesign your space. If so, I hope this video is helpful and inspirational. I would love to see you all on Instagram, and you can follow me at Gabrielle Ruddick for all of the latest. See you in the next video.